This is Bobby. And this is Jennifer. And we're from Cleveland, Ohio. And you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. Of course, originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. Should you see fit to join in via the phone tonight, 216-220-0966. You can also email me if you'd wish, and this is how you do that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com or on the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter, and it's a pretty raucous 2-hour show for you lined up. I use raucous in the most genuine of terms. First hour, it is the second Tuesday of the month and the second Tuesday of the brand new year of 2019. As we all know, 2019 rapidly coming to a close. But we have the normal Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month guest. He is the creator of the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website, not only in the country, but I guess the world. He is also an accomplished book writer, headlong perhaps into the second book. We may or may not get an update with him on that. He jaunts around from time to time, giving lectures and classes and all that stuff. But most importantly, one of my most favorite human beings to talk any kind of live fire with or just have a difference of opinion on. I am, of course, talking about Meathead Goldwyn from AmazingRibs.com. So Meathead will be on in his traditional 14 past and 35 past the hour. Topic this week, or this month with Meathead. We're really close to the end of professional football season. We are officially at the end, as of yesterday, of the college football season. And what goes hand in hand when you're talking especially about football, whether it be collegiate or professional, that, of course, is tailgating. So we'll probably talk a little bit of a tailgating, and we touched on it last year, I believe, or maybe it was the year before, and I wanted to retouch on it. Something that is kind of sweeping the nation, a slow sweep, if you will. That is a term called couch gating. And you may wonder what couch gating is. We'll have Meathead's definition, but if I hear the term couch gating, I hear gating. That means tailgating. That means eating, potentially drinking if you're still into that kind of a thing. But couch signifies a whole different scenario. To me, that means a little relaxation, a little sit-down time instead of a little get-down time. Although, if you have a couch, could signify a little get-down time as well, if you know what I mean. Or maybe it means having the same kind of fun that you would have in a professional sports or collegiate sports parking lot in the friendly confines of your own residence. Couch gating, that's what that means to me. Having as much fun doing what you would do in a municipal parking lot in a city of your choosing, following a sports team of your choosing, except deciding to take that fun into the backyard. using your cookers, using your grills, probably saving a lot of money, probably not running near the risk of getting arrested and taken to jail, and not having to worry about what the hell are you going to do with all these live fire coals, especially if you took a charcoal grill to the parking lot. When you take that to the municipal lots, there's a lot of responsibility that falls on your shoulder you got to take care of. You do it in the backyard, you know how to extinguish those coals. You know how to properly dispose of those coals. Maybe you just have gas and pellet stuff, even easier. And you can use it all, and you know you can do it well. You don't have to scale down. You can go to scale, what you're comfortable with. That's my most favorite way to cook, cooking on stuff that I'm most comfortable with. Certainly, I like the challenge every now and again of getting outside the box on something that I don't have a fair amount of experience cooking on. But by and large, I like to cook on stuff that I like to cook on, that I'm comfortable with, that I know the product is going to turn out good, enjoyable to the other couchgaters that are proliferating the property. So Meathead will be joining us to talk about couchgating, tailgating, and who knows what else. If you have any questions, mix them in. We do follow the YouTube chat roll because that's way easier to follow than Facebook. Although I'm sure if you're tuning into the live feed, a lot of people like to use Facebook and post anyway. It's just very hard for me to follow, so I don't. But YouTube is a lot nicer. So come on over. Go to the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com, and then click on the YouTube button instead of the Facebook button. And you can take in part of the chat roll that goes on there. I always call it the show within the show. Then we move to the second hour. And the second hour, we'll find an open segment at 14 past. For anybody that has any thoughts, concerns, critiques, suggestions, constructive advice for Kansas City Barbecue Society, the end of last week, there was some minutes released on their website as far as a PR contract given out to what happens to be one of the executive members of KCBS. There was also talk of a chief operating officer's position to be filled. Have some thoughts on that as well. But if you have some concerns or thoughts or just general opinion about where the state of your sanctioning body is, use that time constructively. If you're running for the board, I believe voting is open right now. If you are running for the board, call in. We'll get a quick chat in on what your platform is. Shame on you that you didn't contact me earlier so we could do a full segment. But I'm going to try and mix it all in, make it as open and constructive and positive as possible. Your number, 216-220-0966. That's 1014 Eastern. Depending on where you're at in the country, make your time zone adjustments as necessary. And then helping me close the show this evening, you know, it's probably one of the most hotly awaited reveals, much like from a competition standpoint, the king of the smoker is always the hot reveal. Did I do enough to get the invite from Sterling Ball? Does my team rate? Am I a good team to be around? Do other teams want to be around me? Lots of things that go into consideration for king of the smoker that only Sterling can answer. But a lot of stuff that he has disseminated through the years of doing that competition and visiting here on this show and releasing those names here, which I've always appreciated. From a organizer's standpoint for the last couple years, there's been something called the Smithfield Grant. Those applications were taken towards the close of last year, and tonight we will be announcing the 2019 Smithfield Grant recipients. Belinda Hammond from the Smithfield BBQ Team will be joining me, and we will be revealing all of those. We'll also be talking about where the Committed Cooks program stands at this point. Of course, we have to touch on the National BBQ Championship that Smithfield's put together. This is the debut year for that. That will be ultimately taking place in November, so very much looking forward to getting some updates on there. Again, we'll probably hit from top to bottom how you qualify, when it is, all the good stuff, prize purses, bragging rights, all that comes along with winning a big first-year contest. And that's the Smithfield National BBQ Championship. So looking forward to catching up with Belinda Hammond of the Smithfield BBQ Team there, 35 past the second hour. Once again, Just to recap, at 14 past the second hour, if you want to jump in, really looking for your phone calls at that point. Again, that number, 216-220-0966. So be sure to share that around all your social media haunts or email or whatever you like and however you listen to the show. So there you go. We are off and running. 216-220-0966, the phone number. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com is your email address. Don't forget, follow me socially, doing lots of great stuff right now at BBQ Central Show, both on Instagram and the Twitter, and /BBQ Central Show on Facebook. Lots of great reaction from the best of 2018 last week's show. Number of emails with other guests and segments that I should have considered. So in 2019, I'll certainly try to keep a better ongoing archive list of what the best portions are. Try and hit those for 2019. End of the year. Everybody loves the recap of the year. All right, Meathead coming up out of the break. Let me talk to you quickly about the Southside Market in Barbecue, the oldest barbecue joint in Texas. They've been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. They offer premium Central Texas barbecue products, slow smoked over real wood, shipping, distributing, and manufacturing sausages for companies across the U.S., from food trucks to multi-chain restaurants. Southside Sausage can be on your menu too. All meats processed in the on-site USDA-inspected facility, a trusted partner with a focus on quality and authenticity. Wholesale options available, shipping nationwide via FedEx or through food service distribution outlets such as Sysco, U.S. Foods, and Martin Foods. Co-packaging capable from research and development to package completion. They can follow your recipes or help you develop something new. Private label opportunities as well. Visit SouthsideMarket.com for more information. As you're visiting and you start to dump in stuff into your cart and you want to save 10% off the entire order, use coupon code BBQ Central, one word, lowercase, BBQ Central, and you can save 10% off the entire order. So now stock up on the sausage slammers. You know you want to try some of those ribs, maybe some of their prime briskets. Did I mention the beef sausage? Hot guts. If you never tried hot guts, pick them up. Save 10%. Again, that's code BBQ Central. That's BBQ Central, lowercase, all one word, SouthsideMarket.com. Meathead from Amazing Ribs coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
This portion of the show being brought to you by Butcher Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils, all of Butcher Barbecue products, tested on the competition circuit as well as in the backyard worldwide. Be the pitmaster of your neighborhood. Visit butcherbbq.com to stock up now. Always, always trust your butcher. All right, the second Tuesday of the month brings a visit from the creator of the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website on the face of the earth. That, of course, Meathead.
Hey, Greg.
How's Meathead?
Centralites.
What's going on, Meathead?
Hey, well, God, this is just weird, and your show within a show, the scroll of viewers, want to know why there's no video tonight.
Are you talking about the Facebook scroll or the YouTube scroll?
Yeah, the Facebook scroll.
Yeah, well, I'll address that in the top of the second hour. But there is nothing but Meathead on the television now, and that's all that matters for these folks. Meathead abound.
They get to see me, but not you?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
You can see yourself right now, I think, can't you? In your little corner shot there?
Yeah. I just, it's just weird. Okay, well, this is cool. I don't mind. How are you, Greg? How's the rock star in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame town?
Thank God you didn't say Cleveland Cavalier, because we suck again. Basketball sucks again. How is the Chicago Bear of live fire cooking?
Oh, dear. We're in mourning.
Yeah, no doubt. But hey, good seasons. Good seasons nonetheless.
One player clank 6 balls in one season.
Well,
you couldn't hit the upright if you tried.
I can tell you how this happens. Do you know where Cody Parkey came from?
Don't tell me he came from Cleveland.
He came from Cleveland. Why do you think we shipped him out? He couldn't make a field goal.
Oh, for crying out loud.
And trust me, we've had our own issues with field goals kickers over the last couple years. So, and that seems to look, kids, especially boys, I guess girls too. If you're looking to get on a National Football League team, practice really hard starting today, kicking field goals, especially under insane amounts of pressure. You will not get your block knocked off like the rest of these guys. You'll probably make a good couple $1 million a year. And if you're really good, you can stick around 15. I mean, Phil Dawson, since 99, when the Browns came back, the leading scorer in Cleveland Browns history is the place kicker, Phil Dawson. He stayed around like 15 years. So if you're really good, actually, you only need to be kind of really good. You can have a long-term NFL career as a place kicker. Sure, you get made fun of that you're not a real football player, but you're laughing all the way to the bank.
Like Bears let Robbie Gould go. He's out in San Francisco now, and he's hit 83 out of 85 field goals since they let him go.
He was a good kicker. That's probably a money thing. Nevertheless.
Oh, well, they were fun to watch this year. We've been starving for a good football team. Not as much as you guys.
Yeah.
But we haven't been in the playoffs in a long time. It was fun to get there, and they're a fun team to watch. There's a lot of young talent. They'll be fun to watch again next year.
I agree.
I hope. I'm a football fan. I played high school and a little bit of college, and I'm a football fan. So I'm watching football now. I'm watching not now, but I mean last night's game. Hallelujah! Anybody that can beat Alabama, I'm a fan of. I'm a Florida Gator, so just generally hate the Tide. So it was kind of fun to watch Clemson whoop up on them. I'd like to see a closer game. That Bears game with the Eagles was a good, exciting, close game. But, the NFL playoffs are always entertaining, and all you can hope for is a close, entertaining game and good food and good drink.
And that kind of leads us into the topic of this evening, Meathead, which obviously we have a couple pro football games left. We have the divisional series and championships, and we move into the Super Bowl. And then, of course, with yesterday bringing a close to the collegiate portion of the docket, tailgating goes hand in hand with football, especially. I mean, typically anything that has a parking lot, I guess you could convert into some type of a tailgate, but tailgating is most notably familiar with a lot of the football stuff. And isn't your alma mater the biggest cocktail party in the world or something like that?
Yeah, that's right. I'm a Gator, and when the Florida plays Georgia in Jacksonville, they call it the world's largest cocktail party. The academics have tried to stifle that title, but no, it's not. It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. Football, I mean, I love football. I love going to games. I love going to the Bears games. My wife is a Northern Illinois University grad. They're not too far from where we live outside of Chicago. We go there once or twice a year. Been up to Northwestern games, been down to a Notre Dame game once or twice. It's just fun cooking up a storm, getting there early, throwing the football around, talking football. But, there aren't many teams left, so there's not many of your listeners actually going to be tailgating. I like to talk about couchgating at this time of year. Besides, it's cold out there.
Sure.
And, you have friends over, especially for the Super Bowl. You have friends over. You're going to feed them something. You're going to pour something to drink. You know what else has been catching on, I've been reading about, is yard gating. People who bring their big screen TV out back or put a projector up against the side of the house or against a sheet and watch the game out back. So people like to celebrate and party around football.
Meathead, let's talk about, I guess, couch gating specifically from a menu standpoint. Is this something that you can just do the same stuff that you would at a municipal parking lot? Are there things that you can be, because you are at home by your couch gating, you can be a little bit more elaborate with the menu than you could when you're on the road?
I mean, if you're going to the game, even if you get there 2 or 3 hours in advance, you're not likely to be cooking up a pork butt or a brisket or even ribs for that matter. They just take too long. Now, you can cook that stuff in advance and put it in a hot box, a Cambro, and bring it down there. But you can do that at home. You can start the brisket the night before you go to bed and have it ready for a noon game. But the thing is, at a tailgating party, you usually bring tables and chairs and plates and a lot of stand-up walk around. I mean, everybody has their own style. There's a lot of people who have these huge Winnebagos and converted ambulances and such. But if you're going to be couch gating, you don't want to serve food that requires a knife and fork. Nobody wants to sit there watching the game with a knife and fork and a plate balanced on their knee. So you really are looking for finger food. So right off the bat, a steak, I just think, is out of the question. Ribs are fine. I mean, you got to cut them up. Brisket maybe on a sandwich or something. But the classic is wings. And your standard buffalo wings are deep fried. And frying is always tricky at home. Now, didn't we talk a few months ago, about frying on the grill? Did we do that with you? Yes.
You were very pro frying on the grill. It takes the stink out, takes the splatter out, all that stuff. Yep.
And it's not dangerous. People say, "Oh my God, that's dangerous." If you spill the oil into the flames, the worst that happens is you burn up the grill. If you spill the oil onto your stove, you burn up your house. And you're not going to spill it. And I tell people, when you're frying, use a Dutch oven, because you're only putting an inch in there. You rarely want to deep submerge, like chicken, for example. If you're doing fried chicken, you don't want to cover it with oil. You want the chicken lying against the bottom, against the hot metal, because metal conducts heat better than oil does. So you want the surface of the chicken, the top part, exposed to air, so steam will come off into the atmosphere, and then you turn it. So deep frying is really good to do, especially on a gas grill. And if it doesn't, like a chicken, if you don't get it thoroughly cooked in the oil, you can take it out and put it on the indirect side of the grill, close the lid while the next batch of chicken is cooking, and it will cook with carryover heat. So that's a great technique for doing fried foods on your gas grill, better than on a charcoal grill, I think. But if you don't want to deep fry, grilled chicken wings are really good, and people play with smoking them first, then grilling them, smoking them, then grilling them, then frying them. Yeah. A couple of, I'm a little outside the mainstream, but I went to a popular chicken wing restaurant a couple of months ago, and it was kind of cool. They deep fried the chicken wings, and then they offered you a variety of sauces. Well, gosh, you could do that at home easily. Sure. You could do an Asian sweet hot sauce. You could do a Kansas City barbecue sauce. You can do a South Carolina mustard sauce. I mean, that sounds like a fun thing to do. And if you cook your wings reverse sear, chicken always must be reverse seared. Because if you cook it over direct heat, high direct heat, you're going to burn the skin. So you start it on indirect side, you warm it until it's almost done cooking. Then you put it over direct heat, lift the lid, stand there and watch it like a hawk so it doesn't burn. But now you can really sizzle that skin till it's golden and crispy. And that's just a great way to do chicken wings.
You know, I have long thought that I grew up on chicken wings, the traditional buffalo anchor bar wing way, deep fried wings, and then that buffalo sauce. We actually have the original anchor bar sauce recipe. I think we've talked about that too on the show from time to time.
Yeah, I've tried to recreate it on the website, so I have my version of it.
I haven't had a deep fryer really ever. So when I started getting into live fire, when I was doing wings, it was always either grilling wings indirect, or when I started getting a smoker that could get into proper temperature, I was smoke roasting, I think is a term that Stephen Reichlin coined at some point. And
no, I coined it.
You coined it. Okay. One of you two elites coined that. So I thought that was by far the best way, and I had my seasoning down and the process down, temperatures, and the skin was good. And I would still put this anchor bar sauce on it that I would make homemade at home, and it was great. And then my wife got me a deep fryer for Christmas. And I went out and I bought chicken wings, and I was getting the whole wing, so I would actually butcher them down into the flat and the drum. And then I'm telling you now, I'm in a quandary, Meathead, because, geez, a properly deep fried wing with that anchor bar sauce. I don't know if it's romance and past experience that is telling me that maybe that might be the better way, or what probably is going to happen this coming weekend during the football games is I'm going to have a station of smoke roasted wings and a station of deep fried wings, both in the same sauce, and then have a taste off. But geez, I'll tell you, that first round of fried wings was absolutely heavenly.
You know, I did a tailgate party out at NIU, Northern Illinois University, and it was thrown together last minute, so I didn't have a chance to do a lot of advanced prep. And I did hot dogs, but I brought all the different kinds of toppings you need so that you could make a New York-style hot dog. You can make a Chicago-style hot dog. You can make a Detroit coney. You can make a Cincinnati
Skyliner
hot dog with the chili sauce on top.
Yep.
An LA Dodger dog. And I brought them all, and people just had a ball making regional style foods. I'd give them choices. Let them do mix and match. I think that's great thinking, Greg.
Do you know that we had a hot dog controversy in 2018 on this show? Did you know that?
Oh, gosh, I missed that.
My Texas,
I do listen to the podcast.
My Texas embedded correspondent, Doug Scheiding, who, by the way, is the longest running embedded correspondent and fan of the show. He imagine the biggest hot dog snob you have ever met, and Doug supersedes him by 1,000,000%. And here's why: Doug will not even put one single hot dog on any of his cooking vessels. He won't eat them. He won't even put them on his grill. If you had kids showing up to Doug's party because, Uncle Johnny was bringing the kids over and the kid said, "Hey, Uncle Dougie, can you put a hot dog on the grill?" He would say, "Absolutely not."
Really?
Yes.
I used to like Doug. I don't know.
I know. It's suspect. It's very suspect.
I really love hot dogs. When I'm traveling, I look forward to grabbing a hot dog in the airport. I mean, I'm not going to go to fancy sit-down restaurant. I just love hot dogs. I prefer them grilled. And there are a couple of tricks I like. One of them is I like to take the hot dog and I'll hold it, and in the tip, the end, I'll put I'll score it with a sharp knife so that the ends flare open.
Yeah.
And when you grill them, those ends get really crunchy and crispy. A lot of people split them in half so that you have the skin on the outside and the bare meat on the inside, and you grill them that way. You can have fun with hot dogs. I've got a huge section on hot dogs where I give the recipes for New York, Chicago, Cincinnati, so you can do that sort of thing. I think that's just an awful lot of fun, and I like the idea you're talking about of doing a kind of like a chicken wing taste-off. That sounds like great fun.
Have you ever deep-fried a hot dog? Is that crazy?
It's called a franchise. Well, the franchise technically is wrapped in bacon first, then deep-fried.
Oh.
And I believe it originated here in Chicago. I'm not sure. It's done all over. But yes, there's a couple of places in Jersey where they deep fry them and they serve them on a real bready bun. Not a bready. It's a more like a pizza shell. But they call them rippers because they fry them until they rip open at the seams. You know, that's kind of fun. You know, you like the bite of the skin. Of course, all kinds of sausages. You're sponsored by Southside Market, aren't you?
That's right.
They do an ad. They make great Texas hot guts. Those things are great on the grill, but I've had them fried, and
really
that's fun stuff.
It doesn't see. I've always been under the impression that, especially if you're talking about a broad or some kind of sausage that is in that general realm, that you have to take it very slow, very low, and then maybe at the end you hit it with a little bit of heat to crisp up, but you don't want to go too hot too fast because it's going to bust open and all the goodness is going to spill out.
But if they're pre-cooked, if they're raw like a bratwurst, if you fry it, they'll bust open. But if they're pre-cooked, and I have never bought the Southside Market sausages via mail order from them. But I believe those are all smoked and they're pre-cooked. So all you basically got to do is pull them out of the fridge and heat them. And if you drop them in a hot oil, they'll crisp and they'll cook. And they could pop open. For true deep frying, 375 is your magic number. And now, I mean, if you're doing donuts, you want to bring the temperature down. But chicken, technically, you want to get it in there around 375. Get up over 400 and you start smoking. Almost all the oils will start smoking. Get much higher than that, and they can actually catch on fire. But 375 is your target number, because the minute you throw cold meat into a fryer, the temperature takes a nosedive. But I like to do them in a Dutch oven on the gas grill, 2 zones, hot right under the Dutch oven. And then the indirect zone just sits there off. And as the meat comes out of the oil, it sits there in the indirect zone, close the lid, and it continues to cook by carryover, and it really helps crisp them up. It's a great way to do chicken. I've done French fries. You can do them all that way. I've got recipes for a great batter on the website. I've got recipes for a dredge, which is a flour-based. Batter is liquid. You can have a lot of fun grilling on a gas grill, frying on a gas grill.
And I did notice that, because it had been a while since we had deep fried, that at least from a wing standpoint going into the deep fryer, you want to make sure that you have the paper towel out and that you're really trying to sop up any kind of water or residual wetness that's on those, because once you start going into the oil, you get that bubbling effect, and that's where it can start to get a little hairy.
Yeah, that's what all the bubbling is. A lot of people don't get that. But the bubbling is the moisture coming out of the meat. That's steam. And so you want to get all the surface moisture off if you can. And here's a fun trick. When you come out of the oil, people like to put it on paper towels to drain. And you can go through a lot of paper towels. I get 2 layers of paper towel. That's all, on top of newspaper. 2 layers of paper towel is enough to keep the newsprint off the meat. But if you put a stack of newspapers under there, the oil will drip right through the paper towels into the newsprint, and so you don't waste as many paper towels. I get a sheet pan, fill it with newsprint, put the paper towel layers on top, 1 or 2 layers. That's all you need. You can drain them beautifully that way.
We're talking with Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Meathead, stand by, and we will come back to you as we talk a little bit more couch gating, as the football season is starting to make a wrap here very quickly. So we just noted college is now over after Clemson drubbed Alabama last night. I'll talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills. Actually, Green Mountain Grills has a great tailgating cooker. It's the Davy Crockett in size. I have seen at least 2 pork butts go in this thing. So if you're looking to take a cooker with you that's wood-fired, a pellet cooker, that you can actually probably feed, 2 pork butts, depending on how much meat you can actually put in your face and how much meat your friends can put in their faces. I've seen 2 pork butts feed 35 to 50 people with decent-sized sandwiches. Depends, again, on how much you eat, but that's just to give you an idea of what kind of capacity that you have. You're not sacrificing a tremendous amount, considering it's very portable. Now, if you don't have access to a traditional power outlet, you can use the 12-volt adapter. That plugs right into your car, truck, van, or SUV, so it's pretty much going anywhere you want to go, especially if you want to take that pellet-fired goodness with you. Now, if you're looking for something a little bigger, you can step up the stuff that goes onto the patio or onto the deck. Daniel Boone is kind of that mid-size version if you're a family of 3, 4, maybe 5, and you don't really cook a tremendous amount of food at one given point. That might be the size for you. Or if you want to just shoot the wad and go for the big one, Jim Bowie is that model. That one can house a number of pork butts, number of racks of ribs, couple full-size packers. And again, it's the convenience of pellet cooking that really turns the Green Mountain Grill on to folks. Now, with the Jim Bowie and the Daniel Boone, you can take out all of the guts, drop in this pizza oven insert, which you can buy separately for about $130 or so, and now you have a high-heat pizza oven. You like those Neapolitan pies? We've talked about them with Meathead here on the show from time to time. You now have a cooker if you have one of these Green Mountain Grills. You can take out the normal cooking process, put in the pizza oven, and away you go. I mean, what's more fun than making pizza on the weekend? That could be a good couch gating thing. The high-heat pizzas, absolutely. So go to greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. Lining up Jason Baker for an interview as soon as he gives me the go-ahead on some new stuff that we'll be able to talk about. He'll be on the show just as soon as that drops. greenmountaingrills.com, and we're back with more Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Just to reference those pellet cookers, you can fuel them with cooking pellets at cookingpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets. For all your pellet-driven cookers, visit cookingpellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit Amazon.com as well. Don't forget that Cooking Pellets has a free app that you can download, and they will alert you when special deals and great shipping rates are available at the various outlets. So once again, that's cookingpellets.com. And we rejoin Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Meathead, are you still the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website? Is that still a solid fact for me to say? I don't want to give misinformation.
Oh yeah, no, by a long shot.
Okay.
We took a bit for the first time. We started the website in 2004, 2005, and had a pretty steep, steady growth rate until December 2017. And we leveled off in 17, and through 2018, traffic declined slightly because Google has changed its algorithms. It's just really absolutely absurd. If you're out there, folks, Google BBQ ribs, barbecue ribs, or BBQ ribs recipes. Of the top 10 hits,
Barbecue Kevin,
number
right?
1, 2, or 3. Of the top 10 hits, almost all of them are cooked indoors or in crock pots. And one of the few that's cooked outdoors is some guy named Kevin.
Barbecue Kevin.
And Kevin is, as near as I can tell, is a poser. His last name is nowhere on the website. He says right out front, I'm happy to have you sponsor my posts and you sponsor me. We don't do that. I mean, nobody writes anything on our website but us. You can't sponsor our content. Our ribs recipe has 5-star ratings from hundreds of people. He's got like a dozen, and he's rated ahead of us. I mean, I just don't know how Google has gone wrong, but I don't want to get into that. We averaged over 2018, 2 million page views a month.
Wow. That's
huge. It puts us in the top 50 of all food websites. We used to be in the top 25 in 2017. We lost a little traffic. We're still huge. We're still thrilled, and we're still doing good.
Did the other food websites also stumble a bit? I mean, was it one of those things where everybody took a drubbing, or for whatever reason you took the brunt of it?
No, I mean, everybody's scrambling, whether it's food or automotive or whatever. Everybody is always scrambling to figure out what Google is going to deliver to their readers. Google says its mission is to give the reader what they're looking for. Here's a really good example. As you know, we have worked to debunk the myth of beer can chicken.
Yeah.
Beer can chicken is just a funny way of roasting chicken. It tastes wonderful because it's roast chicken, and roast chicken always tastes wonderful. But the beer can has nothing to do with it. And in fact, the beer can is hampering it somewhat from being as good as it could be. You can do chicken better other ways. And we explain this with good science, with temperature gauges and everything, and why it should be where used to be. If you Googled beer can chicken, we were in the top 5. Yeah. So people who were looking for beer can chicken recipes might stumble across somebody saying, do it another way, it's better. We are not even on the front page anymore. If you Google beer can chicken, the front page is all beer can chicken recipes, because Google believes if you Google beer can chicken, you're looking for a recipe, you're not looking for the truth. And so they've bumped us out of there. We don't have a recipe for beer can chicken. I just think Google has gone awry, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
Did you know
we're doing okay? We're hustling to improve our SEO, which is called search engine optimization. We're fiddling with the way the code is written and the way the pages appear. We're forced to write clickbait now. I absolutely resisted that with every ounce in my body. But our headlines now have to be clickbait. I mean, you've seen it. 5 great ways to make chicken better than beer can. That's what they want.
Yeah. Did you know I did a sit-down interview with Michael Simon in November last year?
Yeah, I know. You finally got to the great god Michael Simon.
Did you know when pressed in a lightning round between spatchcock chicken and beer can chicken, without hesitation, he said, beer can? And I even pressed him on it, and he said, for whatever reason, he just really likes beer can chicken.
Well, it's roast chicken. That's all it is. It's roast chicken with a metal object in it. The beer never evaporates. We've talked about this,
sure.
And I'm hopeful your readers are on to me on this.
Yes, of course.
But beer boils at 212 degrees. Chicken is thoroughly cooked at 160 to 165. The beer never boils. It never steams, and it can't get into the meat. The meat is fully saturated. There's no room for any more moisture to get in there. The beer can weighs the same when it comes out as it went in. In fact, often it weighs more because fat drips in.
Yep. And
beer can't evaporate. So a lot of people, especially trained chefs, are still. We're moving now into an era of food nerds. And guys like Kenji Lopez-Alt and myself and others are starting to teach the science behind food. And trained chefs are slow to catch up.
Are they just not open to seeing science? Like, this is the way they learned it, so it's got to be right no matter what?
They're open, but you got to prove it to them. And they all went to culinary school, and this is the way they were taught by their idols. And it's hard to, I went to college, and I have professors who very powerfully influenced me, and it's hard to accept that they taught me wrong.
I don't want to speak for the majority of Centralites, but I'll speak for the majority of Centralites when I say if pressed between beer can chicken and spatchcock chicken, it is spatchcock for us.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, mostly because we like saying spatchcock.
Brown on both sides.
Yeah, and it's easy. It's good presentation, basic, easy to butcher, all that good stuff. I mean, it's a win all the way around, I think.
Brown is beautiful. Brown is, spatch. And Mr. Simon should know this. You brown both sides, you're going to get more flavor.
I did say moisture. True or false, searing seals in the juices, and he did say false. He did say false. So I didn't have to fist fight him right in his own restaurant downtown Cleveland. Thank goodness. So
hey, before we run out of time, I've got to listen to your second hour, but I'm not deeply connected to KCBS. I'm a lifetime member of KCBS. I advertise on their website.
All right.
I know a lot of movers and shakers in KCBS.
Okay.
I have a crush on Carolyn Wells, and I always have.
That's your fault.
But what's going on over there?
Well, I'm not going to blow my wad here at 44 past the hour.
Okay. Then I'll listen.
Look, I mean, here's what you need, and a precursor for everybody that's tuning in, and I got to it a little bit in the open. If you're tuning in, and by no way have we made it out to be that we are about to unveil anything that will be damning, where the KCBS will be closing tomorrow, that we're going to be throwing anybody under the bus. If you go back and just read even the minutes of the most recent special call meeting.
Well, I did. You linked to it, so I couldn't resist. I went and looked it up.
So you see that they're hiring a COO, and then you see that that there was a PR firm that was hired by KCBS. So, where a lot of the concern is, and again, we'll get more into this in the second hour, assuming people call it, people might not be calling in, and I'm going to have to tell everybody what a bad basketball player I was in high school just to fill time, which I have that ready to go, by the way, and it's a great take. The person that got the award is the president of KCBS. So even just if you don't take in anything else into account, just from an optics standpoint, if the president of KCBS also is taking in bids, and then his PR company is the one that gets it, I mean, it looks kind of bad, right?
I would assume that he should have stepped down.
Well, again, stuff that we'll talk about in the second hour, and there's they're continuing. I mean, how long have I been doing the show, Meathead, and there is still the talk of judging. I have an easy fix for judging, and nobody wants to hear it. I have some fixes too, and nobody wanted to hear it. Remove certified barbecue judging altogether. Do what Texas does. And the first argument that I get from everybody else, by the way, not a KCBS member, never have been, never will be, nor will I be a member of any other sanctioning body, because I want to remain impartial and provide an impartial platform to anybody that wants to come on. But
good for you.
Why not just do what Texas does? Get a group of people in there. Say, taste this. Which one tastes the best to you? Instead, you are trying to tell people what their palate should be feeling. I get the concept. But from what I've been reading, there was a guy I was reading on Facebook the other day. He's taken the judging class 8 or 9 different times, and it's been taught differently 8 or 9 different times.
Yeah.
So
I've done it 4 or 5 times, and most of what they teach in the judging class is how to spot illegal presentations. Is this a legal piece of greens, or is it an illegal piece of greens? Have they pooled the sauce? It has nothing to do with the quality of the meat. Look, taste is a matter of taste. Preference is a matter of preference. It's very hard to say objectively what is good and bad.
Right.
What is good and bad is subjective. That's the definition of the term, objective and subjective. They tell you in the judging that you have to be objective. It's impossible to be objective. They tell you when they put 6 or 8 pieces of meat in front of you, taste them, but don't compare one to another. Absolutely absurd. The purpose is to name a winner. Let's have a football game, but don't pay attention to the score. The team that looks the best is the winner. I mean, this is crazy. Taste them, compare them, and make sure the best piece of meat on your plate is the one that gets the highest score.
Right.
Absolutely compare them, by all means. And, of course, they ought to bring back the top scoring meat from every table and put them head to head instead of just running the math. I mean, there's a lot of things that can be done to improve that system. One of the things that I fear has happened to KCBS is they're set in their ways. And I've seen this happen with volunteer organizations in the past. You have a board of directors who come from many different backgrounds, come from many different points of view, many different attitudes. They meet once a month, and it's very hard to get real, well thought out solutions to problems. And it's very hard to get intelligent answers. Those kinds of groups don't progress. I think National Barbecue Association suffers from the same problem.
But KCBS
has all these volunteer board of directors.
There's so many.
Solve problems.
There's so many of them on KCBS. There's 12 people that you have to work through. I mean, they should cut that number in half, or maybe make 5 even.
Well, what is really needed is in these kinds of organizations, and it's common. I mean, whether it's a physicians organization or a musicians organization,
right,
is a strong, powerful executive director. The executive director is usually somebody who is hired to run the organization on a day-to-day business, keep it on the tracks, have a vision. They go out and hire a marketing organization. They had a pretty effective marketing organization. They were controversial, MMA. They split up with MMA because MMA started to do things that they considered competitive, but they just don't have real strong leadership. And if they don't get that thing back on the tracks, it could come off the tracks altogether, and it would be a darn shame to see KCBS go down in flames.
And in the meantime, with all the other, there's constantly the talk of cost and keeping up with the Joneses and all this other stuff when it comes to competitive barbecue. The competitive steak landscape continues to gain momentum, continues to gain popularity, and a lot of folks are more jumping into that, or at least if I'm going to do a barbecue competition now, they want to make sure that there's a competitive steak format attached.
Well, there's some real advantages. First of all, they have very strong leadership over the Steak Cooking Association. Second of all, the cost of doing a steak competition is much lower. You bring a Weber kettle or a PK grill or any kind of charcoal grill or whatever you want.
Anything.
You don't need a $10,000 stick burner on the back of a Winnebago. You don't have to get there a day in advance and set up a campsite. If you're going to a steak cook-off, you can leave in the morning, arrive in the morning, set up in an hour or less, start cooking in the competition, turn in your steaks, start drinking, go to the award ceremony, and get home at night. It's cheap, it's fast, it's simple. Everybody loves steak. And if you want, you can cook a bunch of steaks and share with the audience out there. People go to barbecue competitions thinking they're going to get to taste great barbecue as a spectator.
Nope.
There's nothing to eat at a barbecue competition. There's nothing for the spectator at the barbecue competition. There's just so many things that that KCBS needs to solve, and they're just unable to solve them because of the structure of the organization. I didn't know about this marketing. I know that since MMA was fired, they've been without a marketing organization. But one would think if the president of KCBS was offering his company as a candidate for the marketing job, he would have stepped down and recused himself and gotten that out of the way. That's kind of shocking to hear that he didn't. And now that he's gotten the contract, that he remains as president is also shocking.
Well, we'll see, because I believe there was verbiage in there that while the contract was secured, that if there was a recommendation or some kind of a vote for him to resign, that was still on the table. So just making sure that we're covering all the grounds here in that regard.
But you shouldn't have to have a vote for him to resign. He should have the common sense to say, I have a conflict of interest.
I don't know what happened in the meeting. All I know is they went into a meeting and then they came out, and then this was what information was on the website. And,
well, I don't know either, and so I shouldn't comment.
Yeah.
I just wish KCBS the best, because I love Carolyn Wells. I love the concept.
Sure.
I love the fact that they have single-handedly put barbecue on the map in this country, and it would be a damn shame if they couldn't progress into the new century, into the next decade, with innovation, creativity, improvement, and elevate the sport.
In the meantime, you can check them out at AmazingRibs.com, and on the second Tuesday of every month, you see Meathead right here. Meathead, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Greg, always fun to talk to you and the Centralites, and thanks for having me on, and Happy New Year, everybody.
You got it. There he is, Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. What's going on with Meathead?
Appear via the Traeger Grills hotline.
Meathead had a KCBS take?
Yummy.
Wow. Look at Meathead. I don't know if we've ever had a KCBS debate. Was that a debate? I don't know if Meathead's ever had a KCBS take on this show. I will talk to you quickly about Cook Shack. They manufacture smoker ovens for barbecue lovers with any amount of experience, whether you barbecue in the backyard, on the competition circuit, or in a 5-star dining facility. Cook Shack has the unit that will do the job, and with a full line of barbecue sauces, spices, pellets, and wood chunks, it's the perfect one-stop shop. Cook Shack strives to be your barbecue resource center by offering cooking classes, online recipes, how-to videos, 2 blogs, smoke and grilling 101s, and a video cooking classroom. Check out their website at cookshack.com or follow them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+. Get advice and share your passion for barbecue on their world-class barbecue forum. Cook Shack pellet-fired smokers are the choice of champions because they were designed by a champion. Ed Fast Eddie Morin is his name. The FEC 100 and PG 1000, always customer favorites. The PG 1000 can actually double as a smoker and a grill. Low and slow, hot and fast, the pellet grill line gives you the most for your money. Cook Shack residential electric smokers, the #1 smoker in the industry. I have a 008 in my garage as we speak. High quality means high durability and versatility. Anything you can cook in your oven, you can make in a Cook Shack. Passion and dedication drives Cook Shack's manufacturing, with quality always being at the forefront. Get the best in barbecue since 1962. That's right. Call 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698. Or visit the website, cookshack.com. That's cookshack.com. And that is the last read for them. Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Again, the website, AmazingRibs.com. And we are back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Once again, thanks to Meathead from AmazingRibs.com for coming on the past 2 segments talking about couch gating. I believe... how do I check this? Let me make sure I got the right number there. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Good enough. We got more into deep fry talking than I thought we were going to get. But again, I guess that's kind of where the beauty and the magic of this couch gating is. So you have traditional tailgating, which you're going to be doing in some type of a municipal lot, or you are a fan of a professional NFL team. Professional, is that redundant? A National Football League team or a college team, and you go to their parking lots and you take your portable grills or whatever it is. Look, I've seen the guys at Pitmakers show up at a Texans game. Those guys are doing all the racks of ribs and all the pork butts and all the whole chickens and all the whole briskets. It's quite a scene. If you've never checked them out, that's one thing. But for the majority of us, we're not doing that. So you couchgate, you stay home, you use your grills, you have access to more ingredients, and you can make cooler stuff. AmazingRibs.com, his website. If you've never been there, I highly recommend it. Also, if you are really into it and you want to nerd out, I would highly suggest you consider joining the Pitmasters Club Forum. It's less than $24 for the year. Access to exclusive content and other stuff. Stick around. We'll be back for the second hour.
Hi, this is Scott Greenya from Fairfax, Vermont, also known as Scotty DQ, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how you doing?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish! What?
He ate 54 wieners. Oh, listen, Lavernius, shake your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome aboard. You've found the Barbecue Central Show. We do it live here every Tuesday. It is Tuesday. We're doing it live from 9 to 11. Quick reminder, this is a live show. What you hear Wednesday, what you hear Thursday, if you subscribe to the podcast, is a replay of what is happening now for these specific 2 hours, 9 to 11. I know I'm competing with the president, so please, for all of you that have made time to forego the president, because you can probably get that on the Cliff Notes on your local news or whatever cable news network you're into to spin to your liking. You don't know what's going to happen here. This is really what you want to be tuning in for. Not for, what's good with the company or anything like that. I want to do that. If you want to jump in, 216-220-0966. You can also email Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Still to come this evening, we have a open segment in about 12 minutes from now. If you want to talk about anything KCBS related, we can talk about that. I will talk to you quickly about the items that sparked the segment idea. That being what appears to be potential hiring of a chief operations officer at KCBS. Also, you can talk to me about the PR firm that was hired by Kansas City Barbecue Society, and if you think that is a good look or a bad look. According to Meathead, that was not a great look, and something that shouldn't have happened even prior to putting it up for a vote if Randall should need to step down or not. That's something that just should have happened automatically, but we can get into that as well. So if you have a take on how you would like to see KCPS go into the future or some suggestions, tips, please feel free to call in next segment and share those with me. We can have a little back and forth. Also, as I had mentioned in the open, if you are running for one of the, what is now 6 open KCBS BOD seats, you can give me a quick shout and we can run over your platform and why you think you'd be a good fit and why you think you would be able to. Look, here's the biggest thing that I think people need to realize. It's you and 11 other people, 12 total. That's a big board. That's a lot of people to have to get on your side. Really difficult probably to get a quorum to get with whatever your particular viewpoint is. So I'm always interested to hear how that works. We'll see if anybody really calls in. I said to Meathead in this first hour, if nobody calls in, I have a great take about what a horrible, in hindsight, by the way, fully evaluated, fully self-aware, fully horrible basketball player I was in high school. It could easily run 15 minutes. That's how good the take is. I'm very excited to get it out. That's what's happening in about 10 minutes is the open segment for any KCBS talk that you think you want to get into. I do ask that it be constructive and positive as much as it can be. I'm not looking to Jerry Springer or anything or reveal any secrets to gas can anybody. It's not that kind of show. Never been that kind of show. Will not be that kind of show. Then helping me close the show in about 30 minutes from now, Belinda Hammond from Smithfield BBQ will be joining me, and we're going to be, most importantly, unveiling the 2019 Smithfield Grant recipients. And I know there are people tuning in specifically for that, not only across the country, but across the globe, believe it. I've been getting emails all week. Can't wait through the weekend. Give me that time. I want to see fingers and toes crossed, all the good stuff. That's still to come on this show this evening. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram, on Twitter /BBQ Central Show on Facebook. Coming up on Friday, the newest, latest, and greatest version of the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Since he was just on Tuesday, we will launch back into 2012. John Solberg, executive producer, has put together a double-header episode with Meathead, once again going back to 2012, where we talk specifically about beer can chicken, as he had just referenced, poking of meat, and what board sauces. Yes. Board sauces were really hot, then they really cooled off, and I think Adam Perry Lang is still the guy that is talking about board sauces, maybe only. Also, recently, like in the last 3 months, I saw a big run on, I call it compound butter. I think one of my guests in the next couple of weeks, Susie Bullock, Hey Grill Hey, called it resting butter. I don't know if there's some recipe difference on what she's calling a resting butter versus a compound butter. I mean, I've used that like forever. I've actually substituted out compound butter for grilling oil because I find that to be a little bit more convenient. But I saw that make a really big run, kind of a flash in the pan. I don't really see about it anymore, but board sauces. So if you missed that, you'll get the best 20 minutes of that interview with Meathead, again, dating back to 2012. Also, be sure to tune in to my weekly program Friday morning, where I guest on the John Cupo Show locally here in Cleveland, 101.5 FM, 1330 AM, WINT, or if you are not local or within a 15-mile radius, wintradio.com, and then just run the live stream right off the webpage, and away you go. Typically, I'm showing up around 7:30, and I'm going about an hour or so. So as Meathead had mentioned, and I'm sure as a lot of you notice on the Facebooks and on YouTubes, because I do monitor the chat, so I've seen it brought up a couple different times, being asked about the no video, plus no video last week as we were doing 2018. And if I can be candid just for a moment, I had last week a USB input issue, which is why there was no video for the live show last week. But it was so freeing to not have to worry about that portion of the production. As you know, I'm always trying to produce a great product. And if it's not perfect, I try to fix it. But sometimes I am under constraints that won't allow me to get it where it might need to be in that perfect range. Then the demons start to obsess over it. Then it consumes me. Down the rabbit hole I go. And what I've come to find out, video is that portion for me. I think on the whole, it's maybe missing 5% of being where it needs to be. But it appears I would need to do somewhat of a studio redesign to get the lights where I think they might need to be in order to get this halo thing that was on me. And I think it's always been on me. I don't know. But evidently I need to move the lights closer to me. And my space just isn't easily adjusted. It's not. I can't move my desk forward anymore because then I'll be right in the middle of the doorway. I can't move the lights where they are because they're mounted into the ceiling. And I don't really feel like unmounting them and then, I guess, putting them closer to me and putting more holes in the wall. So the other non-motivating factor for the video is the numbers. The video numbers, while nice, do not even come close to the audio download numbers. Audio downloads being iTunes, Google Play, Google Music, any of the podcast platforms. So to me, it only makes sense to focus less on the video since I can't really accommodate the fixes that need to be done, and more on the audio quality of the guests. And quite frankly, I felt better doing the show last week, being able to concentrate on the stuff that makes the show sound good. So at least for the foreseeable future, I'm taking the camera off me, just running the audio. I'll use pictures as needed if the guests want to have their video up like Meathead, and it makes sense. I go ahead and accommodate that. For the, I think, for what I'm looking to do with the embedded correspondence, there will be video for that. But, trust me, as you have seen over the years, this face shouldn't be the only singular purpose that you are tuning into the show. Should be the content, the guests, maybe some comedy bits that keep you coming back, maybe that you want to hear. So if you're wondering why the video off again, that's why. That's it. Again, numbers don't lie. Audio download numbers are people who never see 1 second of video from me, but will hear this. So we'll see. As I've often said, I live in a world of hypocrisy. So there's a very good chance that next week I might come right back with a video. You just never. But I can't sit here truthfully and tell you that if somebody's pointing out something that's wrong with the video and I can't fix it, that I'm not always going to think about that. It's going to consume me. That's just the way I'm built. Hey, Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself. From the award-winning rubs and sauces to American-made grills and smokers, Big Papa Smokers has everything you need to be a better outdoor cook. Whether you're in the backyard or a barbecue fanatic competition pro, Big Papa Smokers has something for everybody. You know they have those great championship rubs that I love to use. Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, just to name a few, all proven winners on the competition circuit and in the backyard. There's actually 13 different flavors, perfectly balanced to transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. They have that great partnership with Simply Marvelous Barbecue if you're interested in that West Coast offense thing, especially if you're a competitor. They also own Granny's Barbecue Sauce. If you want a new go-to barbecue sauce that will please everybody, Granny's traditional yet powerful flavors remind us why you fell in love with barbecue in the first place. And they have the great cookers, right? That's right. You're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use? Check out the Mac 2 Star. The hell? I swear I muted that. I guess I did. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out the Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer, even offers special packages. Not a fan of the pellet smoker? Okay. How about the old Hickory Ace BP, the only charcoal cooker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer? And the M Grill from Texas. It's steel. It will last forever. They're built like tanks. If you're not sure of what kind of grill you need, you give them a call and consult 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727, or shop their website at bigpapasmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA smokers.com. All right, KCBS Talk, if you want to have it, 216-220-0966. Emails welcome as well, which I will read, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Stick around, be right back.
the only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Smithfield, and they will be on next segment. Committed Cooks, if you have not signed up yet, try your hand and make sure and see if there are any open spots left. SmokingWithSmithfield.com is the website. That's Smokin', S-M-O-K-I-N, SmokingWithSmithfield.com. Belinda Hammond will be on next segment to talk about the 2019 grant program, as well as an update on that Committed Cooks program, as I just mentioned, so stay tuned for that. As I had mentioned, you are ready to go if you want to talk about KCBS stuff, 216-220-0966. If you would rather get in touch with me through email, you can do that as well. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. All right, looks like we got a phone call. Let's go ahead and race the phone. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Greg. This is Candy Weaver. How are you this evening?
Candy Weaver is in tonight. How about that? Candy, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for the opportunity to call in and talk about my platform and why I'm running for the board. I think that over the last couple of years, in the time that I've been off the board, I was content to be off the board, but several things happened this last year that I didn't agree with, and I thought, well, the only way I can do something about it is really get back on the board. So,
Candy, let me interrupt just for 1 second, because
Sure.
I do think it is important to point out that, and you just briefly alluded to it, you've already done this one time before.
No, 2 times.
Oh, 2 times before. That's right.
6 years.
So this is not something that is new for you, except perhaps the only thing new would be the situation or where it stands now. So what has caused the refire in you to want to run again?
Couple of management things that have gone on. You know, when I was on the board prior to this, like my last 2 terms, it was pointed out that all directors are the same. It doesn't matter whether you're an officer in KCBS or you're not an officer in KCBS. All 12 directors are the same, with the exception that the president doesn't get to vote, except in the case of a tie. But this year brought about the advent of the executive committee, which I believe is a blatant violation of the Kansas City Barbecue Society bylaws. That needs to change.
Candy, do you know that the executive committee is some type of a violation of the bylaws? Is there something in there that says that there can't be an executive committee of some sort?
The problem is there's nothing in there about it. You know, in the bylaws of KCBS, there are standing committees that are mandated to happen, and then other committees come about as generally at the direction of the president of KCBS. It's one of the first jobs as a president of KCBS is the president appoints directors to a committee. Essentially, each director has a committee that they're the chair of, and they place members of KCBS on their committee who want to serve. You know, and Philip Brazier said something today that when he got on, was the rep chair of the rep committee, he wanted to pick committee members that were from all over the country. And that's a good way to take it, because we do have reps all over the country, and we have contests all over the country.
Right.
But no, the executive committee never existed before this year.
So, I mean, what do you think the impetus of forming an executive committee is? Like, what's the gain then?
I would say the game was it was a way not to have to work with all the other board members.
So why not?
I think it shows a communication failure. You know, my over and over again in my answers to the questions, as I said, the biggest problem is lack of communication. And it's what, from the board to the membership, from the office to the membership, from the, you know, we develop patterns and things. And when you don't have somebody with the official marketing impetus, say, you don't necessarily have somebody that's going out there and representing the group, except for the whole lot of haters that are on social media.
So would you try and do away or disband an executive committee if you were to get in? Do you think that other board members would like to see that abolished or done away with?
I don't know. I don't know how many of the other candidates and how many of the board members really have studied the bylaws. I mean, I was on the bylaws committee the last time changes were made. And it was a pretty intense group, and we took the whole document and went through several things. And, you know, you've got to look at what this year's board's going to be. You know, even if the incumbent gets reelected that's running, you've got 5 new people on the board. That's a lot.
Yes. And a potential of 6, so that would be half.
That's a radical change for KCBS. So I don't know. You know, I'll be but 1 vote out of 12, and we'll see where it goes.
Did you ever get any type of a notification that there was a vote to be had in order to form and get an executive committee underway, or did it just magically appear one night?
I think it magically. I think there was a stalemate on the board, and it came about in order to become functioning.
Like to get out of a tie.
Exactly.
And so it's just stayed in existence.
I don't think that's necessarily a good way to have handled it, but I wasn't there, so I can't really address it. And really everything that I have heard about it is from me reading the minutes.
All right, so let's talk about, so aside from the executive committee, other things that, you know, you would like to try and drive through if you get reelected.
I would really like for communication to open up on all levels. I would really like for, I've been doing this contest thing for a long time, since 2003.
Yeah.
And I would really like for it to be fun like it used to be in the old days. And maybe this is just me as an old timer talking about it, but I don't think it's out of reach. I mean, the first rule in barbecue has always been have fun. And I think many of us, whether we're cooks, judges, organizers, anywhere in the gambit of it, have forgotten that it's not all about how great you do, and it's about the friends, family, and fun.
How much mirror looking does there need to be percentage-wise? I mean, have the cooks kind of cooked their own goose to a certain degree with the evolution of the sport, or I mean, do we still want to just heap it back up to the board, making changes, or not listening, or not being transparent, or communicative, or things like this?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Sure.
I think that a lot of it is cook driven. You know, the fact that every cook out there feels like they've got to go out there with high dollar meat to compete, and really barbecue is about taking low quality meat and making it the best you can. But you know, it's pushed the sport out of the reach of a great number of people.
So, I mean, how do you fix it? Do you look at?
Well, I think one of the things is maybe you loosen the rules for you encourage judges and cooks to get together. I can remember a fun contest one time where the judges had a contest and the cooks were the judges on a Friday night. Mm-hmm. It was the most fun, let me tell you. And it united the two major factions of barbecue contests in KCBS in a way that really I've never seen since.
I know
there's ways to make it fun, and a lot of it is going back and being social with each other.
Well, I know that Tim Shop runs a Frozen Bones contest. It's not a KCBS sanction, but it is a contest where new teams are introduced, they get to run through, one meet kind of a timeline. And then after everything's done, they're brought back into the judging tent and they sit down with the judges, and the judges tell them why they evaluated the meet the way they did. I know, obviously, that's something that probably wouldn't take place in a traditionally sanctioned KCBS contest, but here's something, similar to what you're talking about, where a new team is getting brought in. They see a timeline on one meet. Going to 4 meets, obviously a different kind of a thing, but they're getting that genuine feedback and immediate feedback from the judges that were just judging their food.
And that's important. It's hard to, it's such a subjective thing on the judging side and on the cook side. Frankly, after I've cooked it, I can't really, and I'm a judge too, but I can't really determine whether it's any good or not.
So do you think, I was talking with Meathead in the first hour, and I said, ever since I've been doing the show, there's always been some kind of an issue with where the judging's at, angel tables of death, everything in between, classes being taught one way and then another way. Is it too far out of the realm of possibility to do away with certifying barbecue judges and then just getting people in a tent and saying, we're going to put this food out in front of you? Tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being bad and 10 being great, how it looks. And then how does it taste? And whatever tastes right to you, and the cream should still rise to the top. And you don't have to worry about all these judging classes. And it's like a people's choice almost kind of a thing.
Well, you're talking about IBCA out of Texas and BCA out of Louisiana.
They don't have any trouble pulling teams into contests, I can tell you that.
Huh?
They don't have any trouble. They don't have any problem getting judges.
Not in
and
Texas, they sure don't.
And they don't have
Louisiana and BCA has made some inroads here at Arkansas, and I cooked 3 of them this year, and I like them. They're fun. It's a whole lot less stress. You don't have to worry about prettifying meat in a box. It's all, you've got a standard way you've got to present it, and it really is all about the barbecue. And every entry is given a score from 1 to 10 based on a number of criteria. But every judge gives 1 score for 1 entry.
Anything else from a platform standpoint, Candy, that you wanted to mention?
Elect me. I'll do the best. I'll work for you. I guarantee you won't see me on social media much, but you send me an email. If I have a KCBS email address, know that I will communicate, and I'll give you my phone number. You can call me anytime. I talk barbecue all the time. You want my chicken recipe, I'll give it to you.
Well, I was telling Randall Bowman this yesterday morning when I had a conversation with him, that the last time I remember we had a true line of communication open in Kansas City Barbecue Society is the last time you were present. We had our quarterly meetings, and we talked about KCBS. We talked about good, bad, and the ugly, and stuff that was coming up. I mean, that was a long time ago. All of a sudden.
Well, it was. You think about it. It's been 5 years since I was president.
Yep.
And I got real tired of saying, in my opinion, and this is my opinion only, but I can do it again. And I'll do my best. That's all I say is I want KCBS to thrive. I don't want it to survive. I want it to thrive.
Is there anybody else?
I think it's one of the best out there, and I think we can take a lesson from other sanctioning bodies to bring the fun back to KCBS. And a lot of that is focusing on our core expertise, and that's barbecue. And, there's a lot of really exciting things happening with a new website. There's some growing pains there, but by golly, that's under KCBS's control, and that's really exciting.
Is there anybody else that's running that you would vote for?
Well, I've already voted.
Oh, okay.
So I would say, and yes, I voted for 4. But as far as who, I don't think that's fair.
Got it.
So I think everybody should read the answers to the questions. We all answered the same, and vote for people that most appeal to you.
When does voting end?
2 days before the banquet, I believe. 16th.
16th, all right. So we still got about a week plus a day left to go.
Yeah.
or so.
And I know from talking to folks at the office that there are people that are, if they're having voting problems, call the office and get them to send you a paper ballot. Now, I do know that you have to send it back just about immediately, but they are accepting paper ballots. So if you're having a problem on the computer, call them. They'll help you. But don't be afraid to ask for a paper ballot.
Up for consideration and asking for your vote humbly is the former president of the KCBS, looking to get back on the board, Candy Weaver. Barbecuers Delight, of course, which makes great wood pellets that we all know and love. Candy, thank you for calling in tonight.
Thank you. Have a great one, Greg.
You too. There she is, Candy Weaver, calling in. Leading the charge here as we talk some KCBS. So, again, you know, some of the same stuff, transparency, communication. She was concerned that the evolution of the executive committee came up last year, and there was never a executive committee prior to this year. And her thought was that it was just, you know, made to get through a stalemate, and then it just never went anywhere. They kept it. So maybe if she gets in, she'll be looking to undo that, I guess. 216-220-0966, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com if you want to shoot me an email instead of calling. I did get an official KCBS statement because the offer was extended to them to come on, and they were advised by their counsel to not come on the show. But the statement reads as follows. Mr. Rempe, the Kansas City Barbecue Society is, as you know, a Missouri 501c4 nonprofit entity. As such, KCBS operates under the direction of bylaws voted on and passed most recently in 2012. To amend or change these bylaws, it takes a 2/3 vote of membership, which we are sure you will agree is an overwhelming majority in favor of KCBS adopting the operating under those. KCBS prides itself on following those as voted on by our loyal members. If any doubt ever arises or is questioned, we immediately seek legal advice from our representation. Our current retained legal counsel is the same firm KCBS had a long-standing relationship with and was the firm that drafted the current bylaws as KCBS operates. KCBS at times receives inquiries from members as well as non-members questioning the board of directors and its representation based on the bylaws in place and voted on by the large majority of our members. It is imperative to further understand that per the bylaws, there are very specific procedures regarding board elections and or removal. The current members in good standing all have a voice in this member-driven organization, and that is one of the greatest and protected rights in the bylaws. The board of directors is elected via bylaw procedure, the majority to make the easy, not so easy, and sometimes downright tough decisions for the majority of the members. Anyone throwing their name in the hat for a potential BOD seat must be nominated and accept that nomination under their own free will. This is a volunteer position. This year, KCBS has received one or more emails questioning our enforcement of the bylaws. To date, every one of these has been addressed through legal counsel and having an end legal opinion of KCBS following them correctly. Legal counsel is reviewing requests as they come in. We have them working now on a member request and are continuing to rack up legal bills that potentially take away from potential programs for the majority of the membership. We, just like you and your audience, find that many times to be between a rock and a hard place. When an email is sent in threatening litigation, we, out of duty to our members, need to address this through our legal counsel. The wants, needs, and desires to openly communicate is often, if not continuously, stifled by someone wanting answers for their interpretations. This makes it where any representative of KCBS is unable, per legal advice, to discuss any matter that may be part of past, current, potentially future litigation. KCBS strives to make any and all chances to communicate as openly as possible available. However, social media is not an official platform. We maintain the official platform for announcements is kcbs.us. And should anyone have any questions, the entire board can be reached via bod@kcbs.us. And that is your official KCBS statement on them not appearing, or anyone, I guess, I put out a number of requests, starting at the top and then working down the list there. So there you have it. And that went about as expected. Other things that we're sitting on, and we'll see how they play out. Candy Weaver is running for the board, as she had mentioned. So if you're interested in what Candy had to say, you want to touch her up for a little bit more information, go ahead and shoot her an email or hit her up on social media. She'll answer all your questions. Let me talk to you quickly about Traeger grills before we get with Smithfield. Behind every great meal is a great grill, but not any grill. A great Traeger grill, and the Timberline is Traeger's most advanced grill yet. It allows you to grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, and barbecue like a pro, no matter what your level, thanks to the incredible wood-fired taste. Seriously, you don't know flavor till you're cooking with it. Traeger grills use all-natural hardwood pellets, so you're literally cooking with flavor, from low and slow smoked ribs to a seared steak, and even a baked apple pie. Traegers can handle it all, and the Traeger Timberline makes it even easier thanks to the Wi-Fi capability. You can check on your cooks, kick up the temperatures, set custom cook cycles anywhere, all right from your phone on that Traeger grill app. In fact, if I had a brisket on my Traeger right now, I could check on it. Find one at your local Traeger dealer or check them out online, TraegerGrills.com. Want to beef up your barbecue game? Traeger Shop class going from coast to coast, bringing barbecue knowledge and amazing wood-fired food everywhere they go. Taught by professional pitmasters, you'll take home all the skills you need to reach barbecue glory. Find a shop class near you. Sign up today, Traeger Shop Class. Traeger.com/shop class. That's Traeger.com/shop class. We're back with Belinda Hammond right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. I just got my Fireboard yesterday. Come on. Love it. You will be seeing video of me using Fireboard coming up shortly. It's great. All right, my next guest will be unveiling the events that will be receiving the event. Yeah, the 2019 Smithfield Grant program. Will also be catching up on some of the other Smithfield programs and also talk about the Smithfield National BBQ Championship that debuts this coming November 2019. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and race to the hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Belinda Hammond. Belinda, how are you?
Hi, Greg. I'm great. How are you?
Absolutely fabulous. Appreciate you making time for the show, as always. So we have a lot of items to get to here this evening. But first, I guess let's, since I did a look back at the best moments of 2018 last week on the show, do you guys look back on 2018 with specific fondness or any items that stick out to you?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I just blinked, and 2 days ago it was the American Royal. So absolutely, I had such a great time with all of our teams out here in Kansas City. It was wonderful. And then, of course, wrapping our year up at the King of the Smoker in California was wonderful. Want to pass along a huge congratulations to Brad Leininger and the whole Getting Basted team for claiming that grand championship and then taking home the KCBS Team of the Year. We're so proud of you guys. It was amazing.
What was your favorite part of the Royal? I mean, that's like, for people that have never been there, I'm included in that. I mean, you always hear about what a situation that it is. Like, what were your favorite moments of getting out there and experiencing it?
Where to begin, right? Well, I think two of my favorites, we had our loin ancillary during the Royal, and just seeing what the teams came up with, the creativity that these teams came up with for utilizing a Smithfield prime pork loin was incredible, and I loved seeing the excitement around that. And also being able to be a part of Tuffy Stone's Hall of Fame induction. That was really something special for myself and the entire Smithfield team. We're so proud of him, and just to watch that ceremony was wonderful.
Belinda Hammond joining me here on the show with Smithfield BBQ. Let's talk a little bit about the Committed Cooks program. I know there's a lot of folks that like to jump in on that, especially when we mentioned in the beginning it was, again, in that 500 team limit. So is that something that has been locked up now for 2019, or there's still spots available?
If you hurry, we still have a few spots available for the 19 season. So if anybody's listening and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I meant to do that, we do have a few spots left out there. I would definitely direct them to smokingwithsmithfield.com and click on the Committed Cooks page in order to register now.
And what kind of swag are you getting when you sign up? Because I know there's a little bit of like a shipping coverage cost, but you're getting way more in return.
There absolutely is. So the kit is valued at about $100, and you're going to take home new goodies for the 2019 season. So we're updating the hats. We've got, of course, koozies, pop sockets, tons of fun stuff that you can use. And obviously, sometimes you just burn through those koozies every year, or lose them, or give them to someone. So nice, fun gear. I know I've seen a few Facebook postings with the new kits on them. So I know they're getting out there, and I know everybody seems to be enjoying them so far.
Belinda, something new this year is the National BBQ Championship, which is going to be finalizing in New Orleans the weekend of November 14th through the 17th. But let's kind of roll it back for the folks that just might be tuning in for the first time, or didn't hear our last discussion about kind of the announcement of this event. How did it come about, and how is it going to roll out through the year?
So this is a really big deal. We're incredibly excited. All the minds that have been behind this program can't wait to see what it's going to become. The Smoking with Smithfield National BBQ Championship was created to unify barbecue, so that we're not just talking about KCBS or IBCA or FBA. We really want to look at barbecue as a whole, as the entire country, and even my friends I met over there in England. So we really want to talk about bringing everyone from barbecue together, celebrating a unified national champion. So we're going to have a year-long points chase. That year-long started on September 1st of 2018. Wow, we're in 19.
That's right.
And goes through August 31st of 2019. And it's going to capture your best of 12 scores, 12 contests throughout the year. There's a lot of details you can find on smokingwithsmithfield.com that will give you specifics about how the contest is going to be run. We'll have our leaderboard going live very soon. Excited to be sharing news about that here shortly. And the leaderboard is going to show us where everyone ranks head-to-head across the country. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're going to invite those top 24 teams to join us in New Orleans, like you said, on November 14th. And we'll have a 3-tier head-to-head. So we're going to start on day 1 with the 24 teams, narrowing it down to 12 teams for day 2, and the final 6 teams to go head-to-head on day 3 to name our national barbecue champion.
So
a lot of fun.
Is there going to be, I guess for lack of a better term, a Smithfield set of rules for that weekend? I know World Food Championships has their EAT methodology. I mean, is there going to be something that's specific to you guys, or are you going to be looking to sanction out?
There will be something coming soon. I'll be sure to be letting you know as soon as we can share that.
Okay, sounds good. Of course, everybody tuning in this evening, especially those folks that took the time out to put in their applications for the 2019 grant program. So I guess without any further ado, let's go ahead and race through those and see who the lucky recipients are.
Absolutely. And I just want to thank all those almost 300 applicants who took the time to fill out the application. Just as a reminder, the prize money here goes to deepening the prize purses for these events so that they can pay out to the top 10 overall, as well as the top 10 in each category, really giving more teams the chance to get their name called at those competitions and continue to keep competing and going to more and more competitions across the country. So thanks so much to everyone who applied. Smithfield is thrilled to have awarded $400,000 to date, and this is our third year.
Wow.
And for 2019, we have now selected 33 events across the country. So
Really?
I'll jump right into that list.
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So coming up on January 18th, our very first event out of the gate, Slaughterama BBQ Championship in Bullhead City, Arizona. Next up, we have Lakeland Pig Fest in Lakeland, Florida.
Nice.
We have Sip and Swine in Lawrenceville, Georgia on March 2nd. We have the Hammond Barbecue in Hammond, Louisiana. On March 30th, we have Suncoast Barbecue and Bluegrass Bash in Menace, Florida. On April 6th, Spring Fest in Beeville, Texas. On April 12th, Smoke in the Spring in Osage City, Kansas. High on Hog Festival in Winchester, Tennessee on the 20th of April. Washmo Barbecue Bikes and Blues in Washington, Missouri on April 26th. That same weekend, we have the 14th annual Smoke and Measure Barbecue in Enid, Oklahoma, as well as the Bishop Wild Horse Desert Roundup in Kingsville, Texas. We have the Barbecue Jamboree Double in Fredericksburg, Virginia on the 4th of May. The same weekend, we have Diggy with the Piggy in Kannapolis, North Carolina.
Love that name.
And, yeah, and we've got Masters in May in Wisconsin.
All right.
On, I believe that'll be our Memorial Day weekend, 5/24, we have Westmont Red, White, and Barbecue in Westmont, Illinois. June 1st, Big Blue Barbecue in Marysville, Kansas. We've got Smoking and Steel up in Minnesota, 5/31. Also on 5/31, we have the 8th Annual Valley Veterans Barbecue Competition in Valley, Nebraska. We have the original SD Barbecue Championship in Huron, South Dakota. On June 22nd, Heritage Days Barbecue Showdown in Millbridge, Illinois. Coming to mid-July, July 13th, we have the Gold Ribbon Barbecue Fest in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Nice.
And we have the Gilroy Garlic Q Barbecue Challenge in Gilroy, California on, July 27th. The Hudson Valley Rib Fest in New York, August 16th. August 24th, the 8th Annual Best Store Barbecue in Washington Island, Washington. September 14th, Table Rock Goats and Bones in Kimberling City, Missouri. On September 20th, Chili HD Bikers Blues and Barbecue Rally in Salisbury, North Carolina. We have Riverfest 2019 in Decatur, Alabama. The Tri-City Barbecue Festival in Denison, Iowa on September 21st. The 2019 Wildwood Barbecue Bash in Wildwood, Missouri on September 27th.
Nice.
Mississippi Delta State Barbecue Championship in Cleveland, Mississippi on October 12th. November 30th, the Jonesboro Downtown Barbecue Music Festival in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And last but not least, our Briscoe Ranch Barbecue Cook-Off in Texas on December 13th.
That's 33 if you were counting. Wow. I mean, you guys really, as you're going through and naming the states, you're really kind of crisscrossing the country in a great way.
we're definitely trying to. We realize there's barbecue in all corners of the country, and we really want to spread the love as much as we can.
As far as, so is there going to be, or is there a list that folks can go to if they just kind of tuned in for half of that or whatever that I can link up to after the fact?
Absolutely. Yep. So we'll be posting it on social media, as well as getting it on Smoking with Smithfield. It should be live on Smoking with Smithfield tomorrow morning. You can check it out there. I'll be happy to post it on my Facebook as well as on Smithfield Facebook this evening as well.
Last but not least, we do want to make sure that if anybody is a pro Smithfield person, especially if you're a committed cook, you want to use the proper hashtags on social media, correct?
Yes, please. Anytime you were talking about Smithfield, we want to see you using that hashtag Smoking with Smithfield. It lets us see what you're doing. Obviously, we want to know where you are, what you're doing, what you're liking. So that gives you an easy way to be communicating with me and the Smithfield BBQ team. So keep up those hashtags.
All right, so again, the website, smokingwithsmithfield.com. If you're following Belinda on social media, be aware that tomorrow you will see a full list of all of the names that we just got through that received the 2019 grant program. And anything else before I let you go tonight, Belinda?
Just thanks to the community so much for supporting us in our initiatives. If it weren't for you guys and your love and your commitment to barbecue, we wouldn't be what we are. So we want to keep working with you and make barbecue great.
With the Smithfield BBQ team, it is Belinda Hammond joining me here on the show. Belinda, thanks so much.
Thank you.
You got it. There she is. Wow, can you believe we got through that 33-team field? Oh, my goodness. I mean, that was absolutely spectacular.
All guests appear via the Traeger Grills hotline. Yummy.
Kind of cutting a huge swath out of that whole country, getting around. Arizona, Kansas, Georgia, all the points in between. I believe there was a Wisconsin in there. There was a Minnesota. Didn't hear an Ohio. Come on, Ohio. Whoa. Come on, Ohio. You can do it. That was weird. Hey, let me talk to you quickly about the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic pit temperature control devices. You know, they've always believed that outdoor cooking can be fun and easy, especially with the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition grill. The Monolith is the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with a built-in power draft fan. This means smarter control and greater freedom with automatic pit temperature control. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature. Let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or a barbecue pit master. With minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill, and you can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time. By the way, if you already have a Barbecue Guru temperature controller and you're buying a Monolith, you don't have to get a brand new controller, right? Hook up the controller right to the fan that's built into the Monolith, and away you go. If you have any questions about what you might need to order, give them a shout. 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. Or you can visit the website, bbqguru.com. All right, we're back to wrap the show. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
All right. Welcome back. Thanks again to Belinda Hammond from Smithfield. Taking a quick look back at 2018, she said there were still some spots for the 2019 Committed Cooks program, so if you want to do that, head on over to smokingwithsmithfield.com and sign up. I think the shipping charge is like $20 or $25, and then you get over $100 worth of stuff. Also, the National BBQ Championship will be taking place in New Orleans November 14th through the 17th, as she had mentioned. And the scoring for that has been going on for, 4 months now. So I believe she said shortly they will be putting up the scoreboard so you can start to track your favorite teams and where they're starting to slot to get into the overall championship. And then you have a 3-day whittle down process. 24 goes to 12, final 6, and then you get it. That's the National BBQ Championship. And, of course, we went through the 33 events that receive the 2019 Smithfield Grant program. As she had mentioned, $400K has been put back into competition barbecue. So if you are into competition barbecue, that's something that you do, something that you like. It's hard to deny that there's probably no other organization that is putting money back into that sport that you might love so much. I know I love talking about it with people that are really good at it. So I'm sure they appreciate the fact that Smithfield is doing it. I appreciate that they support the show. So head on over to smokingwithsmithfield.com for all the information and to keep up with all the stuff. By the way, if you do use the products and you do use social media, I'm wondering what percentage of Centralites don't use social media at all. A lot of barbecuers or live fire cookers love to take pictures. Like my man Kinger is a big picture taker. He loves tagging and videoing and picturing. So you know when he uses Smithfield, he's going to be tagging Smoking with Smithfield when he uses those ribs or pork butt or tenderloins or whatever. And the guy's a media god. In Canada. We won't hold that against him, right? We won't hold it against him. It's all right. You can still hang out in Canada. That's all right, Kinger. Make another booze teen, and maybe that will make you a little happier. I know that will make me happier. You could do a whole nother booze teen video, Kinger, and it would be like as good as the first one. As many booze teen videos as you can make, each one will be great. There's no law of diminishing return on booze teen videos. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and search Booze Teen in the archives. You will be happy that you did. Let's wrap it up all the way back in the first hour. Meathead! AmazingRibs.com. Couchgating. If you're not familiar with couchgating, give it a try this coming weekend. It's tailgating, but you're doing it at your house. Then there was an open KCBS segment that went about as well as I thought it was going to go. I'm smart. And we close it out with Belinda Hammond from Smithfield talking about the upcoming, later in the year, National BBQ Championship. And most importantly, reveal the 2019 Smithfield Grant recipients. That was great. That website, by the way, smokingwithsmithfield.com. Keep up with that for any changes and so forth. A big show planned for you next week, actually through the balance of the month. A lot of great guests coming up. A lot of new guests coming up. Some segment changes. You'll be informed if you stick with me through social media at BBQ Central Show on Instagram, on Twitter, /BBQ Central Show on Facebook. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.